Old Men Talk Shit.
Old Men Talk Shit, episode
11.
I should know the count. I think it's like this is episode 5. I should know the
If
count.
they go in order, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Left American Idol for this.
At this point, this is just getting together on Monday nights and talking to each other.
Well, I mean, wasn't that the reason we started doing this? Because we're all going fucking crazy.
What was our topic? Our topic is bands that you like.
I think bands
other people
like
don't
that
like.
everybody else likes, and then it also could be the reverse.
I have
that
both.
you like that like?
I'm sure there's
Yeah.
both.
It's sort of like
I have
they're
both.
panned worldwide.
The bands I like that I think people are mystified that I like them, although it makes perfect sense to me. I'd say the number one is Rush.
I love Rush.
Yeah, well, good. You're. I knew there was a reason we got along.
We're both nerds.
It's also one of the few bands my wife and I can connect on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. The other one is the Outlaws, which I know Danny hates being in the car when it's.
There's worse bands, man. Like there's the
Well, yeah,
Doors.
it's not like they're not talented. It's just not your cup of tea.
Really, you go for Outlaw instead of oh crap, I forgot their name. The joke
Allman
would be a lot.
Brothers?
No, what's the with the guy who sings like a Muppet?
The guy who sings like
Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, I can't get.
Funny we knew that.
That's the thing. It's like so. Like if we were discussing that kind of music, then yeah, it would be like I don't like Molly Hatchet, but I love the Outlaws, and I think it's just that they were one of those first bands. I think they were popular right when I was like needing to have music. Like, what kind of music are you gonna like?
So I hate to admit this, but name a song I might know from the Outlaws.
There Goes Another Love Song. Green Grass and High Tides. Those are the ones that get radio play.
I think that one was on Rock Band.
Green Grass and High Tides is like epically long. It's their Freebird. I think all those guys felt like they needed to have a Freebird.
Well, they were all basically jam bands. They were just Southern jam bands.
Well, interestingly enough, the guy who founded the Outlaws, this guy named Henry Paul, who's the only founding member who's still alive. He grew up in Kingston, and he lived in Florida. He lived in Florida and met those guys, and then he left and bummed around the village and was into folk music, and that's kind of what I liked about them. They weren't like this straight ahead twangy Skinner bar band. They had like other influences and would do slow stuff and more melodic stuff. But those are the ones that mystify people. And the one that people are mystified that I don't like is AC/DC. And just comes on the radio. It's like without, especially lately, since I didn't used to listen to the radio for a number of years, but I get in the car, and if it's PDH, as soon as I turn it on, it's like either on or within one or two songs, it's Bertho's about to rock. Well, officer, I fell asleep behind the wheel. So, their music is so boring. I don't know. It just. I had an argument with a friend of mine about it, and they were like, I was like, they're tropes. are just so tired and tiresome. It's like, well, those are the tropes that they invented. You know, you can't be tired of it because they
That's-
invented it and other bands imitate them. And
Well, I agree with what he said. You can certainly be tired with it for sure,
it just seems like
but
he's knocking off Johnny Winter or something.
uh,
You can
They're
defend
just-
them till you
they're
blue in
just
the
a
face.
standard
They just
rock and roll
cannot
band.
I'll
get
certainly
into-
defend him. They're one of my favorite bands of all time, but I get it if you don't dig them. You know, I mean,
It's- it's not like I hate them. It's not that I think they don't have any talent. It's not none of that. It's just I think it's like I've been bombarded by it my whole life.
sure same reason a lot of people,
Like it.
Led Zeppelin or
Right.
or Meatloaf or whatever you've growing up the Hudson Valley. Everybody's been overexposed to Meatloaf.
I love me.
But
I'll have to
Is
tell
it,
you
is
about
it
my
really
meatloaf
Meatloaf or is it Jim Steinman? Because it's really Jim Steinman.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are mine. I mean, I'm sure I could go on, but
if we ever do a guilty pleasures, episode, that would probably make my list as bad out of hell. Just put that out there. But I get it. If you're overexposed to something and you don't really dig it to begin with, then sure, that's fair.
right, but it would make sense given everything else that I like that I would like it, right?
Wait till you hear some of my picks.
Okay. So, I mean, just to keep in the interest of brevity, that's I'll stop there. So those are.
So is that your whole wad, or are we gonna
Yeah, pretty
go
much.
around the horn and do
Yeah. That can
No.
be it for now, unless something else comes up. I mean,
Okay.
unless I'm triggered.
Who's next? Who's going next, Charlie?
You can keep going.
No, who's going next?
Go ahead, Bill.
You are.
You are, Bill.
Oh, all right.
You're already
well,
talking. You may as well just keep talking.
my list, I came up with 3 bands I don't like that my friends do, and only one band that I do like that I don't think anyone else does. But I'm sure you guys will point something out that I do like that you guys don't. And I already know a few from Danny. But anyway, first one is something I may have already mentioned to you guys, and because I'm a goober,
This is don't like, right?
I went more with bands that I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only
Okay.
find one. So this is bands that I don't like, and the first one isn't that a ton of my friends like them, but the ones that do really, really do, and that is this band.
Oh,
Ooh,
Now,
yeah.
oh God.
musically, they're
Charlie's
fine,
triggered.
but this is a big. You talk about overexposure for one. They're a good rock band musically, but I mean, Axl's voice just, and when he joined AC/DC, I was like, oh my God, what my brain broke. From one of the bands that I hate the most to into one of the bands that I love the most, just like threw me. So I don't know if you guys have any additional commentary, but I know I have a few.
I don't
friends
know that
are
they're
like,
even. I don't think they're even that good of a band, really.
No.
Like
they came at the right time when
they
hair
like,
metal
but they're
was
not like it's not like they're doing anything particularly amazing. Like they're doing something very generic, really.
sure.
It's not like they invented something,
No,
like
they're doing what building on pretty much
it's an
what
updated
AC/DC put in
version of
place, right?
70s stadium rock. Like
Sure.
it's
Well,
not-
they also considered themselves the next Sex Pistols.
I
It
don't know
was
about that.
they were
or
really good.
Beatles.
They're close to like whatever is the most heroined out band that you can think of.
And did they consider themselves that, or did the critics and
No,
fans?
no.
consider
I remember reading Axl saying, "We're the
Hmm.
first dick in the face of the music industry since the Sex Pistols." That's what he said.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, I don't know about that either.
He's half right.
Do you guys want me to continue?
keep going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
okay.
going.
Bill.
Now this one's probably shock Grundy a bit. You guys, I don't know if you care, but
Oh shit, that's on my list.
meh.
I
You know,
like some,
Bands I
I like
don't
some of
like
their
that I
stuff,
think
but
everybody else does.
Never-
Here's the deal with them, in my opinion. earlier, the further back you go, the more I can't listen to it. And then their last album, Warehouse Songs and Stories, I actually liked. And haven't listened to it in a while, but I got through it. And I think with each album from the beginning, the production got better. They slowed down a bit, which kind of goes against. I mean, I like fast music, of course, but by the end of their run, that's when the songwriting actually really started to shine for me. And then they broke up. Bob Mould did some solo stuff, and then Sugar came out, and I love that band. That they're one of my favorite bands. Those few albums that they put out were amazing, but it's just a combination of the production and the speed. And I mean, the guitars sounded like a buzzsaw. I know I said I like Big Black, but the guitar in this combined with the undermixed vocals and I just never connected with it. But most of my friends really, really love this band. Even friends I wouldn't expect, like our friend Nick, who played played guitar in Dover Boys. So I would actually argue he was the first guitar, but
he was second fiddle for sure.
Oh, wait till he sees this.
I think it's just the umlaut.
Not really worried about that.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. It's like Charlie said about AC/DC. They set the pace. They were part of it, the formative years of punk and stuff like that. And I get it. And they're definitely talented. I mean, Bob Mould has proven that over and over again. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys have anything more to say about Husker Du, but they're just one band that I just never really got into.
I'd like to piggyback on that.
Either
they're actually on my list of bands that I don't like that I think everybody else likes.
Well,
like
I'm with you.
I just never could get it. Like when I first met Carla, she had Zen Arcade, I think it was. I think I've tried to listen to that album like 100 times, and I just, like you said, Bill, like I don't connect with it. Like I don't get it at all. Like either it's just I'm too dumb, or like I don't know. Like it's like just like generic college rock to me. Like
same with Metal Circus. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, I'm getting into this.
A hard album.
This is the listening when I'm getting into it.
So, Grundy, I know you're a big fan.
So, for a long time, I did not like Zen Arcade, and I hated Land Speed Record. Guess what my two favorite albums by them now are? Land Speed Record and Zen Arcade. I think I changed on Zen Arcade. There was a tribute album. There was a whole bunch of Minneapolis bands who redid Zen Arcade things. And I really gave the songwriting a second chance on that. It's still not my favorite one by far, but Land Speed Record, that is a fucking insane all-out thrash album. I remember the LP of it had no fucking song breaks. And the first CD version of it had no song breaks. It was like side one is one track, side two is one track. And it was just like, I can't deal with this. But now I'm like, I put it out, I'm like, yeah, this is freaking rocking, man. I can't believe I never liked this as much before.
It very well could be a case if it was just better produced and my ears could hear it better. But yeah, it's just a buzzsaw.
I think it's live. Land Speed Record is a live album, but it's I used to listen to it as like, this is the wall of noise. I can't fucking listen to this. But pretty much everything I listen to is a wall of noise anymore. So it's just like, oh, this is really easy to interpret.
All right. So I'll go to the third one that I do not like this band. And you guys, I think are going to be a little surprised by this, but here goes.
Black Flag.
I don't get it. And it really boils down to one thing. Greg Ginn, who is, you read in all these interviews and stories about him, and he's like, practice. We got to be perfect. We got to be tight. Has he listened to himself playing guitar? For real. I can't get past the guitar playing and the meandering and it's another one of those things that just breaks my brain. And I like some songs, and I get it. They were super influential. They were one of the, original
guitar
West Coast,
style.
especially. But that's why, like, I'm fine playing the songs. Like we do a cover or maybe two. I don't remember. But I'm like, Danny,
One or
go.
two.
You do the solo because maybe I'm just jealous because I can't play like that. Like that could very well be it.
I had heard his style developed out of them not having a bass player for a while,
Well,
and they would practice without.
and the musicians that have been in the band, I like Henry Rollins. I like Bill Stevenson.
Mhm.
Robo was in the band, right, for a while.
Mhm.
Keith Morris, Des Cadena, like they've all gone on and done other things that I'm a fan of. Just it's the guitar playing.
See, to me, that first iteration of them is really the best one. Keith Morris one.
I'll let you think that.
I'm kind of speechless. Like I was really surprised by that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I was expecting.
Yeah. So
Because it is just so but it's so perfect because it's like pretty much across the board. Like everybody likes some version or some piece of Black Flag. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that's one you definitely know that like most people are on board with Black Flag, and you're like that one holdout.
yeah, I bought Damaged way back in the day because I saw Repo Man and my friend Chris was loved Black
And
Flag.
you
I'm
had
like,
to.
oh, okay, six pack and TV Party. I'm like, okay, but I'm like, those aren't really good songs. Anyway, that was the last one of the bands that I don't like that pretty much everybody else does. And I don't have a background for the band that I do like that I think, and I only have one that I do like that I don't know that a lot of my friends do like, and that's Primus. And really anything Les Claypool's done. I just think he's bonkers. Because of listening to Primus, that made me go back and listen to bands like King Crimson and Gentle Giant and stuff like that, which I also find to be pretty good. I mean,
Yeah,
I dig
Primus
those
is one of those bands that the fandom turned me off to them before I ever really got a chance to listen to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what about the fandom? Was it?
I don't know.
Was
There
it
were
like,
just like a bunch of guys that I didn't like who were into them, and
like
so
jock?
I was like, well, if they like them, they must blow. So.
Primus sucks, as they say.
I.e.,
Another. He got me. He did an album with Buckethead. I'm like, what is this guy about? So I dug deep into Buckethead stuff, and it's like, oh my god, this guy's just like insane. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I dig Primus, I dig his playing, I dig the band, and I also appreciate the fact that he's opened me up into listening to other genres and artists and stuff. So
he also writes a lot of those songs on South Park.
Yep. Bill, you got to watch the Ozzy where he talks about auditioning Buckethead as a replacement guitar player.
Oh yeah,
You got to take the fucking bucket off. Take the bucket off. I can't have you play that.
so he went join. So then he went and joined Guns N' Roses, right? There's also a funny interview with James Hetfield about when Les Claypool auditioned for Metallica after Cliff died.
Oh geez.
And he's just like, you could tell he's like he didn't know what to make of him. He's like he's too good, but it's weird.
Right.
So anyway, that's all I got basically. I would be curious. We don't have to go into that now, but maybe later on, like, what bands do you guys know that I like that you're like, oh hell no?
Kicks.
What?
Kicks.
I should take that back because of the stuff I've been listening to lately. You would just be like, really? And you're gonna tease me about Kicks? Okay.
I played that their first album years ago for Nick, same Nick as we were talking about before, and he's like, these guys are fucking great. Well, he's into that like 80s power pop, like the Knack and stuff like that. And if you listen, Kicks' first album before they turned into whatever it was they turned into, they were like they didn't sound like Jay Giles, but like how Jay Giles was like the quintessential bar band for that style of music. Like Kicks was that back then, and you really came out in their first album, and then they got signed to a major deal and teased their hair and did what they did. So
I'm going to listen to them this week because I've been going through a whole genre lately. And
yeah, check out their first album.
I'm going to add them to the list. I'll listen to everything just because I hate myself.
And just think about Nick and think about like bands like the Knack and stuff like that, and you may get it. I did not think I would be defending the virtues of the band Kicks tonight. Just like go on the record
one
for
X
that.
or two X's?
Just one.
Okay.
They weren't
the
that
cereal.
good. They weren't that good to have two X's.
Oh. So it's the cereal.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which came first?
I don't know.
No one knows. Maybe they came at the same time. They were inside the box.
So let's go with Danny because I know there's going to be some bands that
my list
bands I like.
Felt long for the ones that I don't like, but I kind of think or feel like people around me like. Husker Du being at the top of my list. Oh, dare I say this one out loud?
Yeah.
The Misfits.
Yeah, I totally saw that coming.
Yay! Finally, someone said it.
Like
I already knew
everything
that.
from the
I already knew
the hair to the costume to the makeup to his warbling vocals, like all of it. Like just, I'll bet there's a good band in there somewhere, but together, it's the Misfits are just.
I think they're only good together. I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's like good musicianship, I guess, but it's just.
I think the Undead are a better band.
Oh, here's a quick story. Bobby Steele from the Undead and former Misfits, played with Dover Boys at the Avalon skate park.
You remember that because you were wasted.
That was a different
I
Avalon
think
gig.
I saw.
No, because this one, Bobby Steele, like our friend Joe
might have been there.
Our friend Joe James came up to me before the show, and this was a different one that I was wasted at, this one I wasn't wasted at. He's like, Bobby Steele wants to, like, I met Bobby Steele. He's here, and I told him that you guys do some Misfits covers, and he's like, oh, do you think would they mind if I got up on stage and played with them? I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. He's like, well, thing is, he wants to know what songs they are, and if you could come and show them to him. So I grabbed my guitar, went off into a side room, and we end up like the first few songs I had mentioned to him. He's like, I wasn't in the band then. I wasn't in the band then. Like, so I think we settled on like Astro Zombies maybe or something. So I gave him a couple of the chords. He's like, okay, I got it. And he ended up coming and doing a quick song with us.
Remember, he turned to us afterwards. It was like, that's not the arrangement that we played. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Yeah, we played it off the album.
I remember that somebody like spray painted a nasty racial epithet on his on the hood of his car.
Yep. Anyway, Danny, sorry to hijack your list there, but
nah, that's cool, man. So Misfits, and then I don't know. Let's see, it's a toss up. Who else should I pick? I'll go with Fugazi. I just don't get it. It's much to me. It's like Husker Du. Like, I don't know. Is it too smart for me or is it just boring? I can't tell. But I prefer Minor Threat and all the spin-offs, Dag Nasty and whatnot. But yeah, Fugazi, I just can't stomach.
Yeah, I got that one up 13 songs. I don't know if it's their first album, and it was pretty good, but I never got heavy into them.
I remember you and I, Dan, when that came out, their first, it must have been their demo or their EP or whatever it was. And what's his name? Guy was listed as playing Space. And we must have been stoned or something. And we were like laughing our asses off. Like, Space? What the hell is this?
Practice that all the time.
That'd be a great job to have.
Space. Okay. It's like a step above Vox.
Hold on, man. My space is a little flat. Let me tune
Like Bono just writes Africa. Like I play Africa. My albums.
So those are my
They've grown
three.
on me.
Yeah,
Just
I
because
think the
like a
Fugazi
lot of
one, too,
garbage
I
has
think
come since.
for me, it's like the Fugazi stuff is just like really played out for me too, just from hanging out with McNaughton so much in New Paltz and like traveling here and traveling there. He would get like fixated on an album and then that's all we could listen to. I would imagine there was probably a long weekend or a week where I had to listen to
That'd be an
Fugazi's
episode in of itself.
What? Musical taste of McNaughton.
With the musical taste of the people that you were,
oh my god,
that you couldn't get away from. So it's like the month straight that I listened to Mother's Milk because Timmy wouldn't listen to anything else. The 3 months I listened to Paul's Boutique every day because Timmy wouldn't listen to anything else.
Tim, yeah, and he's the biggest offender of Guns N' Roses for me that summer.
Really?
And he
Yes.
lived with you on Academy Street.
Yeah.
Actually. Yep. What else
anyway,
you got, Dan?
what's the one you like, Dan? That
Oh, the one I like that I don't really know if other people like it much. I guess I'd throw. It's tough because I think people do like these,
well, everyone.
but probably the one I get the strongest reaction about is the Jesus Lizard. Carla fucking hates them. Like,
Really?
if I
I've
have
seen
other
them,
people in the
I-
car, I've gotten to the point where I like won't put them on because if other people are in the car, I listen to them alone because I don't know. I just feel like, but they're to me they're just an amazing band. But my assumption is that other people don't like them. Just I don't know.
I
'Cause
like
that's
them.
just been the general reaction.
I like the bass sound.
They've got the greatest rhythm section
Yeah.
to have ever existed. Like they're just fucking tight as hell and off the wall. But yeah, that would probably be my other one. Or Bad Livers. But I think most people like Bad Livers once they hear them.
Bad what?
Bad Livers.
These aren't
It's a bluegrass
bands
band.
you like. Nobody's ever heard of.
I guess so, yeah. Bad Livers was like a bluegrass band, but they did a lot of like touring and like shows in the whole punk rock circuit.
Oh.
And
Are you familiar with?
they've got a bunch of albums out, and some of the songs are just insane.
You familiar with the legendary Shack Shakers?
I've heard the name before, but I can't
They're
say
really
if
good.
I've heard them.
Check them out. I saw them open for Reverend
How'd
Horton,
you like?
Thank you.
and they're just insane.
Really?
Got a bluegrass flavor to them, and just punk as punk can be.
Oh, really? All right,
Yep.
I'll have to check it out.
Check out the album Cockadoodle Don't.
Okay. Writing it down.
All right.
All right, Grundy, you're up.
Okay,
I guess.
Grundy. I think it's
So-
you.
Yeah. So my first one, I don't know, but this one feels like sacrilege to a lot of people. Velvet Underground.
Oh,
I'm with you.
I wish I could share my screen on one of my honorable mentions.
I like
was
them.
I put and I quote Doors and all that hippie shit from the late '60s is as far as stuff that I hate. So I'm with you, man.
I've heard so many times that people were like, it's not that, but there was this one thing. It was like everybody who bought that album started a band kind of thing. And at some point I was like, okay, maybe I was younger and I just didn't get it. And I went back and listened. And I was like, no, I really fucking hate this album. And
Maybe
then
you
like,
just weren't on their wavelength.
although I like to say that Sterling Morrison rated the Dover Boys as, will you shut the fuck up? This is the wrong house. The door's over there.
He lived in the apartment downstairs from
He owned
a bunch of
the
us.
house that Timmy lived in. And I knocked the first time I went over, I knocked on the wrong door and I met Sterling Morrison and he's like,
Sorry, is that somebody from the Velvet Underground?
he's
I
a
don't know.
guitar player or something.
If he walked in front of me, I wouldn't know what do you
Yeah, it's like this would have been a lot funnier if you guys actually liked that band,
Right. If it was
and this was really sacrilege.
We all agree with you.
Yeah.
We're-
Okay.
Is this episode just like bands we all hate? Is that it's kind
No, I like that band. I like them.
It's bands we all hate that nobody's ever heard of, that we haven't even heard of.
Or we wouldn't listen to because we hated the people that liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is Bill, you've said you like them. Charlie, I think you like them. Dan, you're probably on my boat. King Crimson.
I don't. Again, it's just yeah,
I don't
probably.
It's like
I
I've heard
can't say I
bands.
didn't like it because I've just never heard them.
I've heard bands
Never
cover their shit, and I like the cover, and then I go to listen to it, and King Crimson puts me out like in like seconds. It's just like done.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It really depends on the lineup in the era of the band. I mean, and I'm not even going to pretend I know their whole catalog in and out, but
No, me either.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's this isn't a really, I don't think anybody, I don't know, but we had a couple friends who were big into her back in the day, and I was always just like, I don't know what the fuck. Kate Bush.
Kate Bush.
Kate Bush.
yeah,
Is that you're running up the hill? You're
That's
making
the
a
one.
hill with gold.
Everybody's like, Kate Bush, Kate Bush. Listen to it like,
Ah,
I think she was just nominated for like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too.
possibly. Whatever, man.
remember I got
just
to
tried listening to one of her.
I got to
albums
the
recently,
painting
and
program at New Paltz and
through, like, the
everybody was
second
into
song.
Kate Bush. I just turned on the Germs when I walked into the studio. And everyone left, and I had it to myself. You guys like this better, I think. Oh no? Oh, okay.
No, okay. Well, let's see. At least I get some
See you
quiet in here.
Nope, couldn't get behind Kate Bush.
The one that I like that is probably more that I've probably gotten teased about most over the years is Iron Maiden.
Oh
Although-
God!
Bill's on my side with this one.
Oh hell yeah! I was just listening to Number of the Beast today.
How do you get teased about liking Iron Maiden?
Huh?
Punk
You
rockers,
guys teased? I don't
punk
like
rockers
Iron
are
Maiden.
snobs, man.
I don't know. It's another one. Like it all like all the pieces fit together. Like okay, they're into history and they're into medieval stuff and it's fast and but I don't know. It just didn't resonate on any kind of level.
I think that's the biggest thing about us being a bunch of old guys who's like, you don't like that? No, who gives a shit? You listen to that? Wow. All right.
You're one of those guys.
Go figure.
You
Have
mean
we
we
done
could have
this-
been friends a long time ago, but
Have we done this 30 years
wore
ago?
that
We-
shirt that day, and I wouldn't give you the time of day.
It's like the Kiss episode. We're like, yeah, in the end, Dan Arrow and I were like, yeah, we don't care. You listen.
yeah, and Charlie and I are like, yeah, they really weren't that good. Oh boy. So yeah, I was gonna roll back to the whole Doors, a band I never ever got into, but then I started thinking about like I don't know if a lot of my friends are actually into them, but it's a band like super popular band that's like I just actively dislike them and don't like any of the other bands from that era really. I mean, even like Hendrix and I don't hate Hendrix, but and I don't know what else is from that era.
Well,
The Who, and like the Beatles. I could take or leave the Beatles. They were amazing songwriters. I get it. I'm on board with their influence and all that stuff, but I'm not gonna pop an album in.
You own any of them?
The Beatles stuff?
Yeah.
Actually, I do. I own all of them. I even have a lot of my mom's old albums. She was a big Beatles fan.
Oh, there you go.
My mom was more into John Denver.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember my brother got that John Denver Greatest Hits album, the Christmas one.
Bob Dylan's another one. Actually, just thinking about albums that I inherited from her. She had a few Dylan albums, and I'm like, not for me.
Nah. I mean, listen to it so you could get a good
After
cover out of it.
quarantine, man, I finally found this.
Oh my God, you were amazing.
So I'll get it back to you.
That Hervey Village
post-quarantine, I
has?
guess.
You can't get
Yeah.
that version anymore either now, because the only one that you can buy now is the colorized one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have the one with both.
Okay.
I never seen that.
Oh,
It didn't
Charlie.
age well. It didn't age well at all.
Danny, if you know you're going to see Charlie before you see me, hook him up with that. Oh no, it didn't age well,
All
but
right.
it's still awesome.
Then I'll lose it, and then you still won't have it.
Charlie will have it for 8 years.
I was so excited to get a copy of it. I was like, Carrie, you got to watch this movie. We're watching. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, right out of the gate too. It's like the
Yeah,
first.
I was just like,
He's like, oh, this shit don't float today, man.
Oh, now I'm really curious.
Did you ever watch it, Danny?
I'm gonna.
Oh, I'll come over.
I
and
mean,
we'll
in your defense, it's only been 9 years. So
what?
I just found it. It's been
you named
lost
your
for like
band.
8.
You named your band after like a thing from the movie, and you haven't
I
seen it.
know. No, I haven't.
oh,
man. All the people out there are like, wow, this guy's really, he's an underground warrior if he knows that band, if he knows that movie. He's never even seen the movie.
he knows about it.
I've heard of it.
Watch it tonight, Danny. Watch it tonight.
All right. I'll watch it by Sunday. I'll have watched it.
All right. Expect the full report next week. There we go.
Absolutely. That'll be the episode, me recounting the plot.
Well, I have to see it now. You can't see it on YouTube or anything?
I know there's
Yeah.
tons of clips because it's Danny Elfman before he was known, and right when Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo, which is what they're billed as there before they became Oingo Boingo.
Boingo.
Yeah.
So it's before Back to School.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's Danny Elfman's first movie soundtrack score.
But is Mark Mothersbaugh involved in it in some way? or
No.
No.
It would make sense if he were, but no. This was Danny Elfman, Richard Elfman, and Richard Elfman's wife, and Hervé Villachez, and who was Queen Doris? Susan Tyrell.
Yeah. It was basically like a burlesque stage show, kind of like weird thing that they all did, and like Danny Elfman was like, I think I kind of want to have a band, and he's like, it turns out that it's a lot easier to pack a band into like a van than like the Knights of Oingo Boingo into like a couple trucks worth of stuff.
Mhm.
Grundy, did you ever see when the Mystic Knights were on the Gong Show?
Yes, it was really bad and good, but
Yeah.
mostly bad. I was just like, did I watch this when it was first on? I might have.
Probably. I watched that show religiously.
Yeah.
Like, who else did we miss on the Gong Show?
Never can get enough Buddy Hackett.
Gene.
So does anybody have any questions for anyone else? Any
No.
burning questions?
No.
Yeah, I didn't come up with anything either.
Yeah.
Well, mine aren't like person specific.
Hey, Danny, remember when you wore that red sweatshirt? Yeah.
That was a good year.
Oh boy. So do we have anything else, or is this it?
This is it.
This is it. This is
So
it.
here's when I was thinking about this today or yesterday or whenever, I just happened to see on Instagram something about Eddie Van Halen discussing his technique or lack of, how he didn't really think about it. It was just like something that came natural to him. He didn't have names for it or anything. But I was thinking about their career and just like it's so short. You know, like their real career, like it's tiny. You know, compared to other bands where like they were producing. You know, you can't count like the Sammy Hagar and After stuff. But like, you know, it's like 78 and then by like 84 it's done. You know, it's such a short span of time. It just
So
They
like
also, you know, they
comparing,
bounced around for years, right? As like a bar band
Yeah.
first.
well, yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't-
from Van
I-
Halen 1 to 1984 was only like 8 years.
6.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
I mean, compare that to like Tears for Fears, who like still putting an album out every year or so, you know.
Yeah, but like who cares? But like to not to be broken up, to be not a band, to, you know, like
They had a very dense 6 years for sure.
yeah.
And you I don't think you won't see bands like that anymore. The thing that may be closest is like Foo Fighters, like them or not. I mean,
Ugh, that's another one.
what other current band that's out there has been that's successful, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know,
but
I mean-
even the Foo Fighters have been around for like 20 years.
yeah.
But the Foo Fighters are like part of that old system, and you're never going to see that again because
No.
well,
that's
that
that's
system
my-
is like gone and dead. And the reason that
Yeah.
like Van Halen was like so like whoa, because they were the only thing like that. Like I mean, think
Yeah.
when they came out, it's like you had like what was going on that year. There was like a lot of disco, was basically, you know, like let's have white people fuck up funk music, and the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, and Van Halen, and a
The
bunch
Knack
of
was
yacht
big that
rock.
year.
Yeah, but you know, even like think of like out of the top 40 kind of things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they're like one of those bands that paid their dues and like actually played clubs, and you know, they weren't like this invention. And I think the thing about the Foo Fighters that bothers me the most is that they're sort of like the standard bearer left for like rock. Or,
I think Grundy hit it. They're like one of the last bands from that old era. You know?
I mean,
I
there's
guess, but they're sort of a creation. They didn't like start small. They did all their starting in other things. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not like they said, hey, let's be the Foo Fighters and play some dumb club.
It was definitely, you know, Dave Grohl was like, well,
He's already a
Yeah.
star.
my meal ticket just like died, so guess I better start a new band.
Yeah, but you know what? To his credit, he did it all himself, and he was known as a drummer, and he came out and became a frontman,
True.
and the primary songwriter. You
Yeah.
know, and talking with our friend Tim, it's like, oh my God, he writes the best Bob Mould songs. And you think about it, like, okay, yeah, you know, I get it, and I'm sure that's would be a compliment to Dave Grohl if anyone ever said that to him.
You should. Next
but-
chance you get.
Yeah, next chance I get.
I mean, there's so many like current and modern bands that I listen to who are doing really interesting, like guitar oriented bands, and not
Mhm.
just like awesome freaking hardcore bands, but like bands that are doing like guitar pop oriented stuff. They're never going to be as like big. They're never going to be like you're never going to have that kind of like record company putting like $1 billion behind this band, and like they're all over the place and they're headlining Shea Stadium and shit like that.
Nope.
We don't even have Shea
Who
Stadium
headlines
anymore, so whatever.
Shea Stadium anymore?
Nobody, because
Nobody,
it's a pile of
right,
rubble.
no one.
the point. Yeah.
Where
but
do
it's
you
still
ever
it's
Parking
like-
go?
lot right now.
You know,
Yeah.
like it seems like the festivals are the big moneymaker.
Yeah, and like a lot of the bands that I like go and they like do big festival stints. Like they have a tour and then they like do festivals through the summer and then they have another tour, and hopefully they made enough money that they can like pay for food and then
Right.
record another album. But
Well,
there's-
right. That's just it. Is where is it written that they should just wallow in obscurity and be broke? their
Yeah.
entire lives so that they remain true or pure or whatever you want to
I mean,
call it.
it's not even true or pure. It's just like I would like to eat and I would like to continue in my band. So
Right. It's just
if they're from America, they have day jobs.
right.
There's a band I really like from New Zealand. They get a lot of grants from the government, to be honest. You know,
Uh-huh.
New Zealand's got an amazing like government arts funding program.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Okay,
where we
well,
need
this
to
went
go.
off the rails.
I'm gonna cut this one like after the initial bullshit, and then
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like I'm gonna comp together like the end bullshit from the couple different episodes and just like make another 40
Just where
minutes.
shit hits a wall and it's like, yep. Okay.
Here's the weird shit we talked about at minute 50 every
Well,
week.
then on that
That
same
might actually
tack,
be the good
here's
stuff.
the thing: is like, what punk rock kid can go to punk rock bowling, and what punk rock adult would want to go to punk rock bowling? See,
Yeah,
it
right.
seems marketed towards people who with disposable income. So, what kid has disposable income to go and stay in a hotel? You.
No. What
Oh.
what are you talking about?
Punk Rock Bowling is this show that happens every year that Mike from NoFX puts on.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's like the marquee punk rock festival.
Yeah, it'll
of
be
the
like
year.
Circle Jerks, Fear, no
It's
FX.
a ton of good bands too.
Right. But it's
Never heard
got
of it.
I don't know what it costs, but to stay in a hotel for 3 days and see a bunch of bands, that's got to be,
Oh yeah, it's like
$1,000
you know,
and a plane ticket. And
yeah, everything Charlie's saying plus like $100 a day kind of
right. So
ticket
like
thing.
ostensibly I could swing that, if I wanted to even go, but I'd rather cut my own throat than go. But
Because of the
as
bands
a
or
kid,
because of the
who it's marketed to, who can afford that ticket price?
Because Charlie's like me, he wants to go see a band in somebody's fucking cellar and like be
Yeah.
blown away and come out like, I think I'm wearing that guy's shirt. We didn't change shirts, but I'm pretty sure I'm wearing his shirt.
Charlie, it's the same people who are paying insane ticket prices for their kids to travel to New York City and stay in an expensive hotel to see Justin Bieber. It's the same people.
It's all the people that went to the Garden to see the Misfits reunion. It's
Yeah.
like those folks. Like they have the money because they have credit
but-
cards.
Yeah, but
But my point being, Charlie's like, it's this whole bowling thing is marketed to kids,
or just, you.
but right, but it's the same could be said about any pop. I mean, who's who's like a kiddie band like right now, like you're the current Britney
Like
Spears and
BTS.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Okay,
BTS. It's like dead silence. Like every like lead K-pop
I'm sure their
thing.
ticket for any recent
it's a lot.
seat, it's going to be a ton, and that's the kids that are going to that, but their mommy and daddy are paying for it. It's marketed to the same.
Yeah, I
age
know
and,
that.
you know.
It's just what adult that can swing it would want to go. It's my point.
I
I don't know.
I mean, it's the
Folks
same
that-
people who go on like the Kiss cruise and shit like that.
Yeah. The people who just don't want to let go.
Like, yeah, it's like, I loved it. No effects. But, now I'm an investment banker and like, so I can afford to go to freaking Vegas and pretend I'm still a punk rocker.
Yeah. See, and for me, like if I really like NoFX. I won't even pretend to tell you that I've listened to any of their last probably 10 albums, but if they were playing at the Chance down the road, I might go.
Well, right, but you're
Maybe
not going
not.
to fly to Vegas and
No, but my point being, if they were playing at the Chance, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, that guy, I got to go see him. I'd be like,
yeah,
I'm
right.
free and Grundy gives me a ring. Probably like
Right, he picks
me
you up.
calling you, Mike, and saying, hey, Bob Mould's playing up in Connecticut or wherever he was playing. You want to go? You're like, okay, sure.
Right.
Where's the rest of the band? Oh.
Yeah, that was an interesting show. Grundy and I and our friend Brian went up to see Bob Mould just before COVID hit, right? It was like
Yeah.
February of last year, I think. January or February. We drove out to some little really nice theater in somewhere in Connecticut. And it was just him, but it was him with an electric guitar. And it wasn't him playing like just, clean with chorus and stuff. It was him like with the Husker Du setup guitar. Like this
Alone?
raging, yeah,
Alone.
him with this raging distortion doing his material, yeah.
Yeah.
And an occasional acoustic guitar would come out, but yeah, definitely not what I thought it was going to be.
You like it?
I liked it well enough. Don't regret going.
I don't regret going.
I don't know if I'd go again, but
There were definitely moments where I was like, yeah, this is great. The moments where like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah, I went to a show that it wasn't Gone, and it wasn't SWA or anything. It was just billed as the Greg Ginn Band, and I thought at first it was a misprint because it was in San Francisco. Thought it was Greg Kinn. Then I found out it was indeed going to be Greg Ginn Band, right? So I got there, and the first thing that happened was I looked down. I was ordering a beer. I looked down, and there was $100 bill at my feet. And I look up, and Greg Ginn's standing right next to me. So I just put the money in my pocket. And then the band is supposed to start, and they're all doing yoga on the little stage. It's at this place, bottom of the hill. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to blow. Like, what is this going to even be? They get up there, and they said, if anybody knows the lyrics to this song, come up, feel free to come up. And they start playing Nervous Breakdown. And I and others like rushed up there, and we got to sing Nervous Breakdown with the Greg Ginn Band.
excellent.
Meanwhile,
Did
Charlie's
you
like,
give him his $100 back?
How do I know it was his $100?
Charlie's like, but our love's in jeopardy. Damn it.
Oh,
No, you were supposed to play
wow.
right. It ended up being a good show, but the yoga definitely threw me.